friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Tori, and today we are going to continue my bookshelf audit by going shelf by shelf. I know I was kind of trying to do an either-or thing when I did the big bookshelf unhaul, and then I went through all of my book hauls since the beginning of my channel, and I figured out how many I'd read versus unhauled. And now for the final piece of the puzzle, I'm gonna go through every single shelf in my new bookshelves and figure out how many books that I've read and how many I've unread and give a percentage to each shelf. Now, I do use a spreadsheet, which was designed by the lovely Sylvia from Library Unbounded. She has links if you want to check out or try this library spreadsheet for yourself. Highly recommend it. It's just enough information for me without feeling like it's overkill, and also it's really pretty to look at. So if you want to go check that out, I'll put a link to her channel down in the description box below. I have cataloged my entire library, physical and Kindle books, and even a lot of my audiobooks are on here as well. And I have an unread percentage of about 67% of my library, which is a big number. However, that number doesn't really scare me because I look at it as I've built this library, I've given myself this amazing, beautiful set of bookcases full of choices to read, and now the challenge is to dig in and really start getting going on the reading of it. One of the things that I forgot about when I put everything in my spreadsheet is that I do like to separate out my ebooks and my physical books because the percentage of my read ebooks is going to be very different than my percentage of read physical books, I think. So I'm very curious to see if that 67% of my total library with all of the books included, with the ebooks and the physical books all together, is different than if I break out my physical shelves. Now, this is just proving once again how nerdy us book types are, because honestly, the fact that I'm taking all this time to do these bookshelf audits is purely for my own enjoyment and interest, because I do like numbers. I like to be able to see the numbers on paper and set goals, and I promise, for me at least, I know that stresses some of you out, and that is completely valid. Don't do this if it would stress you out. For me, it gives me kind of a physical goal, something that's tangible, something that I can sink my teeth into, so to speak. So I'm very excited to do this because the number isn't going to stress me out. It's just going to give me information that I can use going forward as I tackle reading all of my shelves. So let's get started. I have labeled my bookshelves 1 through 5. I have the 3 big ones behind me, 1 half Billy bookcase, and also my small 3-shelf mini bookcase over by the side of my bed. And I'm going to tackle each one of those, and we are going to figure out how many unread versus read books I have on my shelves. Okay, so we are going to start on bookshelf number 1. I have my paper and my phone with a calculator and a pencil, and we're going to start on bookshelf number 1, shelf number 1. I should probably say bookcase number 1, whatever. And we're going to figure out how many of these I've actually read. It is very weird, by the way, to have a bookshelf so tall that I need a step stool to get up to the top shelf. I know, because I've been told this by multiple of my shorter friends this last few weeks, that now I know what it's like for everybody else. On this shelf, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. There are 30 books. I am going to count multiple editions of the same book, which might skew the numbers slightly. It's fine. I feel like that's okay. So we're gonna just do that because it's on the shelf. Have I read it or not? And I have read, let's see. All 3 of these 2, and so I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of 30, which gives me a percentage of 43%. That's a decent number, and some of these books are actually my husband's classics that kind of moved in on the shelf with mine. So some of these classics aren't even my books, really. Oh, I'm really making things difficult for myself. Hold on. All right, shelf number 2 on bookshelf number 1. Oh, wait, actually? Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 books on this shelf. And I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 30%. I mean, that's, again, not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. We are on a quest, you guys. We are on a quest to figure out if any of these shelves are more than 50% read. That is my goal. This one's also gonna be a problem because it's a lot of molassin, and we're working on it, okay? We're working on it. So on this shelf, I have read 5 books. Really cruising. 5 out of 21. I almost don't want to do the math on this one. 23%. We're going down. I'm seeing a downhill trajectory that I don't love here. But it's fine. It's going to be fine. This is giving us a foundation for our Read Your Shelves challenge to get really serious going forward, and I'm here for it. I'm so excited. Let's do it. This is kind of an awkward shelf because it's like too tall for me to sit in a chair and too short for me to kneel on the ground, so I'm going to just sacrifice my knees for your entertainment. So on this shelf, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 27 books. And I have read 6 of them. 22%. Guys, we're going down. That's not good. All right, we are on to shelf number 5 of 7. And maybe this one will be better, but I'm not holding my breath. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 25 books on this shelf, and I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 28%. Okay, we're going the right direction. 28%. Okay, this shelf is going to get slightly special treatment because I will be ordering the 3 City Watch books that I am missing on this shelf for trade paperback editions, and I am going to count those because they're on the way and I have read them, so I might as well. And that gives me an extra 3 books on this shelf, potentially, that, I don't know if they're all going to fit, actually, that I have read. So 28 total if I count the 3 that I still have to buy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with the books that are on their way. So 9 out of 28, which is 32%. That's a little bit better. I am actually legitimately excited, you guys, to try and get these shelves to 50% plus. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be really fun. It kind of gamifies everything, which for all of my neurodivergent friends in the audience, you get it. It's a really fun way to motivate yourself to do anything. And not that I feel like I need motivation to read all of these awesome books, but it just adds an extra level of fun. Last but not least, we have this shelf down here, shelf number 7, which actually might be my best one on this entire bookcase. We will see. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20, 21 books I have read. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 21. 38%. Well, it didn't quite get up to that 43% on the classic shelf, but hey, we're moving in a much better direction now. All right, bookshelf number 2. So this shelf is going to be a little tricky too because these 2 sets are my husband's and they are H.G. Wells and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I don't really have any interest in reading either of them, so I'm not going to count them on this shelf because those are his books. They're not in my TBR. I don't have them in my spreadsheet or anything like that. So we're going to skip those. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. There are 21 books on this shelf, and I have read 9 of the books, which is 42%. You guys, classics and poetry are saving my butt right now, and I think it's because I buy less of them, and I keep more of what I read of the classics, so that's probably why. So that was a good start. Let's go on to shelf number 2. There are 19 books on this shelf, and you guys, I have a sneaking suspicion that this shelf is going to be a much better number, which I'm really excited about. Let's see. I have read all 3 of these. This one, all 3 of these. This one. This one's the same book, but we're going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 19. That, my friends, is a solid 52%. We have 1 shelf in the green. Yay! What do you think? You want to say hi to everybody? He's like, I'm not sure why I'm here. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Here is shelf number 3. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 21 books. And I have read all of The Faithful and the Fallen. I've read 3 out of 4 Riverfall Chronicles. I've read all 3 Duncan Hamiltons. So that's not bad either, honestly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one is at 47%, which honestly is kind of exciting because that means if I read like 1 or 2 books off that shelf, we'll be in the green. All right, guys, are you ready for a really great number percentage for this shelf? Because there are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books on this shelf. And I have read all but 2 of them. So that's a grand total of 10 out of 12, which is 83%. That's pretty darn good. Now this is my favorites or a favorites shelf. So the favorite shelf are definitely going to be higher percentages than the rest. But hey, we'll take it. And I will be reading Thud and Snuff by the end of this year. So honestly, we're looking at 100% red shelf at the end of the year, which feels pretty great. All right, guys, so this is shelf number 5 for this bookcase, and I'm skipping the shelf above it because, as you can see, the only thing up here are my books, and obviously I've read all of those, so we're just going to skip that. It's just kind of a display case for all of my books. There are 21 books on this shelf. It's pretty packed. I'm currently reading Howling Dark, so I am going to count that one because I am reading it. And then, let's see. So out of those 21 books, I have read 7, which is a solid rounded 33%. Still not bad. All right, guys, we are down on the floor on the final shelf, the shelf number 6 on this bookcase, which is the final Z, up to Z shelf of my alphabetical library. There are 21 books on this shelf as well. That has been the most popular shelf number so far. I have read... So on this shelf, I have read 5 books, and that gives me a percentage of 24, which could be worse. All right, bookcase number 3 up here is memoirs and nonfiction, which I'm curious to see how this one goes because honestly, I feel like I've read quite a few of these, so we'll see what it looks like. There are 36 books on this shelf. It's amazing what happens when you leave the fantasy shelves. Now, on this shelf, I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, which gives me a solid 41%. I'm happy with that. That's a pretty good number. All right, we are now back in the fantasy shelves, and this shelf has 24 books, and I have read 2 of them. Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Guys, I have read 8% of this shelf, and it's fine. It's fine. We're going to fix it, and we're going to read all of these amazing books because I really want to. So it's just a number. All right, moving on to shelf number 3 on this bookcase. Let's see how many books we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20 books. And I've read 6 of them, which gives me an even 30%. All right, for shelf number 4 on bookcase number 3, so this one is also going to be a much higher number, which makes me very happy because, again, this is a lot of favorites and special editions. And I have read all of them except Raymond Feist's Magician, which I might get to this year, might not, I don't know, we'll see. Which means that I have read 91%, 10 out of 11 books. We're down to shelf number 5 out of 7. The bottom one is empty, so we don't have to do that. So 2 more shelves on this bookcase. There are 24 books on the shelf, and I actually have a pretty good feeling about this one because I have read quite a few of the books on it. We've got the Merediths helping us out with our number over here. Read this one, read this one. I've read all of these. And the first Miss Percy book. So I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of 24, which gives me a 63% on this shelf, which this might be my new favorite shelf because I've actually read over 50%, over 60% of these, which is awesome. All right, guys, last shelf on this bookcase, we have 24 books again on this bookshelf, And let's see how many I've read. I have read 7 of the books on this shelf, which gives me a 29%. We are starting on my YA and manga and comic shelf. I am going to skip that top shelf because there's literally 3 books on it, and I've read 2 out of the 3, so that's pretty good. But we're going to move down here to my first YA shelf. Now, I'm only going to pull out these 3 books because these are the only 3 that I have not read. So I have read 9 out of 12 books on the shelf, which gives me a beautiful 75%. Moving on down to the next shelf, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 books on that shelf. And I have read, actually, let me just do the same thing. I have not read 4 of the 10 books, which of course gives me a 60% read on this shelf. All right, guys, what you see here is a very special shelf because that is a 100% read shelf. Now this one's a little tricky because I technically haven't read any of my Kenshin Omnibus editions. However, if you count the 28 individual volumes of this set, I have read the first 2. So we're just gonna say I've read 0 out of 9 omnibus editions. At some point, I will. On the next shelf, we have more manga, and I have, technically speaking, I have loaned my first 3 Spy Family volumes out to a friend, so I will be counting those. So I have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 books, and I have read 13 out of the 18, which is a lovely 72%. Now on this shelf, there are 4 books, 3 omnibus editions of Vagabond, and 1 Sam Yang art book. I have read the Sam Yang art book, which gives me a solid 25% read. All right, we are over at the mini bookshelf, and there's going to be a lot more books on these shelves, but I've also read quite a few of these, so I'm hoping that the numbers are going to be pretty decent over here. There are officially 22 books on this top shelf, and I am not going to pull them all out because it is really hard there's not a lot of space up above the books for me to pull the books out, so I'm just going to count how many I've read on this shelf, and we're going to go from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far, I have read 7 of these 22 books, which gives me a percentage of 32%. This shelf, however, isn't going to be great because I have not read have I read any of these books? I've read 3 of these books. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 18 books on this shelf, and I have read a grand total of 3 of them, which gives me a whopping 17%. All right, guys, here is our final bookshelf of the day. So there are 27 books on this shelf. Of that 27, I have officially read 10, which gives me a percentage of 37%. All right, guys, that is my entire bookshelf audit. And I have to say, one of the things that I was really curious about with this is to see if removing my Kindle reads from my physical TBR would change the percentage of what I've read versus unread. And I was pleasantly surprised, you guys. With all of those lower numbers that we were coming up with, I was a little worried. I wasn't really sure if it was going to change that number at all, because just to remind you, the physical plus Kindle TBR on my spreadsheet officially is around 67% unread, which, you know, is fine and doesn't bother me, but it's a number that I was questioning because I felt like I had read more of my physical library than my Kindle library. And so when I take all of the percentages that we went through, going through all those bookcases, and I average them out, I was actually pleasantly surprised, you guys. I have officially read 42% of my physical TBR. So it does actually go up when you look at my physical TBR as opposed to physical plus ebook and audiobook, which is good. And that feels very true to how I read, because to be perfectly honest, physical reads are my preference over ebook and audiobook. So I do tend to gravitate more toward my physical library, which is great. But 42% is not bad. And it actually makes me really excited to continue the Read Your Shelves challenge and my TBR game and changing my book buying habits to be more of a reward for reading other books. And I really feel like that's going to feed into the way that I want my reading experience to be going forward. Because like I've mentioned in my last few videos, I have just been spending the last few years building this library. When I started BookTube, I had one little bookcase that wasn't even full because I had a bunch of knickknacks on it, and I could like arrange my books all cute and stuff. Can't do that as much anymore. So clearly I've spent the last 4 or 5 years building a library that I absolutely love. It looks so beautiful. I love looking at it. It brings me a lot of joy when I come into the room. And now I'm excited to just cozy up in my favorite chair with a good blanket and a good mug of tea and read these books. Not to say I haven't been reading the last 5 years. As you guys know, I've read a lot of books this last 5 years, but I'm excited about this. This feels like fun challenges coming down the pipeline. I've got a lot of fun ideas. We're gonna do some random pulls out of the spreadsheet. We're gonna do some random pulls out of the jars. We're gonna be playing the TBR game. And I just feel like it's gonna be so much fun. And I'm really excited to see those percentages go up as we get further into the challenges. So thank you guys for being patient while I dissected my library for the last 2 weeks. You guys are amazing. I hope you guys have been enjoying this journey, and I promise we're not going to be doing any more bookshelf audits for a little bit here. We're going to shift to other content. I hope it's been a little insightful and interesting for you, and if it has, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to continue hanging out in my little corner of BookTube. We'd love to have you. And yeah, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week reading some 5-star reads, and I'll see you in the next video.